Hello, and welcome to your short course workshop on how to ward off dementia by keeping your brain healthy as you age. Okay, I am super glad you are here, and you will see in the introduction why. I am Dr. Trish Leigh, and hopefully you've had the opportunity to watch my introduction video so that you can learn a little bit about my credentials and why I'm here and why this is important to me. I cannot wait to spend time with you in this workshop so that I can teach you all about how your brain is supposed to work, the brain pattern that is at the root of dementia and Alzheimer's and cognitive decline, and then what we can do about it to improve your brain as you age so that in the end, your brain is running tick-tock, it's running perfectly, and you can live just as well in your aging years as in your younger years. If you are an adult child of parents who have struggled with dementia or have died with Alzheimer's or dementia, I'm especially glad that you are here because you need to know this, because it will give you specific strategies, techniques, and tips that you can use, and then your stress level can go down knowing that you're doing all the right stuff for your brain, so you will have a different ending than your parents. And that is important to me because brains don't fall far from the tree, but epigenetics shows what we do with our brains can really make a difference in the end. So just being here is step number one so you can change the outcome. So welcome. Okay, what is dementia? Top signs are memory loss, difficulty planning or solving problems, difficulty doing familiar tasks, being confused about time or place, challenges understanding visual information as well as verbal information, problems speaking or writing, misplacing things, poor judgment, and decision making. And the list can go on, but basically it's cognitive decline, a decline in thinking skills and abilities. It can be very scary for, not always for the person who is experiencing it, but sometimes, but definitely for their family members. This introduction is the favorite of mine out of all of my workshops because it is mind-blowing. Alzheimer's by the numbers is just staggering. 5.1 million Americans have Alzheimer's disease. 500,000 Americans younger than 65 have some form of dementia, including Alzheimer's. The number of people aged 65 and older will more than double between 2010 and 2050 to 88.5 million people. And in my mind, this is preventable. If we would start using our brains better, we can prevent this and definitely reduce it. The prevalence of Alzheimer's disease doubles every 5 years beyond age 65. And I can't wait to tell you a story about one of our patients who we changed his brain and definitely changed his life. And he came in when he was 80. We've only been in North Carolina for 6 years. He's 86 right now. The outcome would have been totally different. We souped up his brain. My awesome team at Leigh Brain and Spine made his brain perform better. Then his mind and his body works better. And first of all, he has hope and he knows he's feeling better. So it's an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral. Now, moving on to caregivers, 1 to 4 family members has to care for every individual with Alzheimer's. Caring for individuals is estimated to cost $100 billion a year. $100 billion. This is an expensive disease. So when people say to me, oh, these brain-based therapies are expensive, they don't know what expensive is. This is expensive. Yes, it's an investment, and I am not playing that down. I invest in things all the time. I have 5.5 children. So I invest in braces so my kids can have better teeth. Investing in your brain so it works better across your lifetime is an awesome investment. And if you think about it in the end, if you don't have to pay that piece of that $100 billion for 4 of your family members to take care of you in the end, you'll be in good shape with that investment. Okay, so Alzheimer's, facts and figures, $7.9 trillion is a potential cost savings for the current U.S. population from early diagnoses of Alzheimer's. And this is from the Alzheimer's Association in 2018. So you'll be able to see these numbers. These are not my numbers. I took them right off of the Alzheimer's Association. This is what you need to know. Alzheimer's begins 20 years before any symptoms are seen. So most times our brains are developing to the age of 28. At 28, they start degenerating. I know it's a terrible fact, isn't it? But if you can keep your brain healthy, that degeneration doesn't have to be stark and definitely doesn't have to cause you any problems. But just so you know, the brain pattern is brewing in there long before symptoms manifest, which means by the time you have your first symptom, you already have 20 years where you could have been making that brain pattern better. So think about that one because it's important. Prevalence is increasing. I'm going to show you. It's staggering. Caregivers are impacted significantly. I probably don't have to tell you that, but I'm going to show you, and I've already shown you. This is very expensive for everybody. Okay, so this is the projected increase from 2018 to 2025 in each of the states. Dark purple are the states that are going to experience the most increase, and then the lighter the purples become, that's the less to the least amount of increase that we'll see. But there's still an increase. The lowest projected increase across the country is 13.6%, which is big. That's a huge percent. Having states where we're going to see a 45% increase in Alzheimer's is shocking. All of these people should be using brain-based techniques right now to lower these numbers. I'm serious. I'm serious about this stuff. So you can look for your state and you can see if you're at a high risk state or if you're at a little bit lower risk state. But no, even if you're in a low risk state, the risks are high. Okay, now this one is just mind blown. And this gives me such urgency. I'm doing all the things that I share with people. I need everybody else to start joining me because this is not a workshop just for people whose parents have dementia. This is a workshop for everybody. The percent changes in selected causes of death for all ages between 2000 and 2015. So check this out. What this means is that breast cancer deaths went down by 1%. Prostate cancer deaths went down by 7%. Heart disease deaths went down by 11%. Stroke went down by 16%. HIV went down by 55%. Alzheimer's disease went up 123%. Chew on that. 123% affects us all. We all need to be doing this. So I am so glad that you are here with me today because this is important stuff. It is projected to increase even more in the future, like we already saw. Okay, so let's talk about caregiving and how that impacts loved ones because I work with so many adult children whose parents have either struggled and suffered with Alzheimer's and have passed with Alzheimer's. So I am here to tell you that being a caregiver of someone with Alzheimer's is a double whammy because you know you have a genetic propensity for the brain pattern that has caused the Alzheimer's in the first place. And I'm sorry if I am the bearer of bad news, but I will be the bearer of good news soon because there's something you can do about it. But what I need to tell you is that the emotional and physical stress that you are also subjected to, you already know this, that stress kills. The stress that you are under by caregiving for your loved one with Alzheimer's will triply impact the brain pattern that you already have that puts you at risk. So you need to use these brain-based therapies and techniques and strategies starting right now to back out any brain pattern that is there, to get the anxiety brain pattern under wraps and get it controlled so your brain can be as healthy as possible as you age. It will change your outcomes in your later years. This is important stuff for you. So check this out. Emotional stress of caregiving was seen to be very high, and then 59% not high to somewhat high, 41%. So most people think it is very stressful caregiving for someone with Alzheimer's, and it's less physically stressful. And we know that emotional stress has a larger impact on the brain than physical, but it is a stressful situation and you need to get your stress in check so your brain works better too. Okay, so let me just show you a brief progression of how dementia unfolds for people. So mild cognitive impairment, we already said, so let me back up for a second. For 20 years, the brain pattern is brewing underneath the surface without you even knowing. The minute that a person starts to have mild cognitive impairments, they start to have symptoms that tends to last on average a duration of 7 years. So this is short-term memory only. It doesn't really affect the activities of daily living, but we have more and more little memory slips. And that's the story that I wanted to tell you about the 80-year-old who comes into us. He came in because he told his geriatrician that if he starts to have any more of these little short-term memory issues, he's going to kill himself. So she referred him to us, not knowing what we do really at all, but she knew she had to send him somewhere to try to change this brain pattern. That was 6 years ago. He's been with us consistently since. We've backed out the mild cognitive impairment. He no longer has any memory issues and basically have warded off these other stages from developing yet. And he's 86. And in that time frame, he suffered a significant physical injury, and he had a little bit of a slip up with some mild cognitive impairments while his brain had to use the resources to heal his shoulder. And then he had another incidence of a very big life transition, having to move out of his home into a facility where he has independent living all the way down to hospice. And that really, rocked his cage a bit. But then he's back in business, feeling better again because of that emotional stress that was associated with that. But we usually have 7 years duration of mild cognitive impairment. Then it becomes mild Alzheimer's for 2 years, moderate to severe in 3 years duration, and many people pass with Alzheimer's. As the disease progresses, Alzheimer's spreads throughout the brain, impairing brain areas and functions. So it starts as changes in the electrical energy within the brain, which is what I'm here to talk to you about, which impacts the physical structure of the cells. And we know about the proteins that are associated. I'm not going to talk about that here today. You probably know that. What I want you to know is that the electrical energy and the physical health of the cells go back and forth. My husband has an adage he likes to say about flow being the source of life. So when energy stops flowing, then those cells will begin to die. And we know that in Alzheimer's, early on, the energy in the brain doesn't flow as well within those areas. That means electrical energy, which then impacts blood flow, which impacts the physical structure of those cells, which then impacts the flow of energy even more. It's back and forth, back and forth. So I am here to talk to you today about the electrical energy in the brain, what you can do about it to keep that flow going. Okay, so the journey you're in right now is, especially if you are helping, if you're helping to care for a loved one who is on a downward spiral of dementia or Alzheimer's, I feel for you, and I want you to know your outcome can be different. You're all stressed out. We already know that from the numbers, and you already know that from your life. Hopefully you're someone who is here who wants to just prevent it. That isn't usually the case. I wish it was. It would be easier. But if you're a caregiver, I'm going to show you how to go from where you are now, worried about what's happening in your brain, not knowing what to do about it, and thinking that you might succumb to the same outcome as your parents while you're trying to love them and care for them in their last days and years. I want you to know we can back that out, and you can get back to your full potential, get back to the purpose in your life. When your brain is working better, you'll be able to care for them better because your stress will be lower and your brain will be sharper. It will come together for you. And in the end, as you age, you will be in a better place. So how are we going to accomplish that? How are we going to get you from A to B? We are going to go through the 5 keys to having your brain age in a healthier position so that your outcomes are different. Number 1, you need to know how brains work in the first place. So you need to understand, it's called neurological regulation. I'm going to share it with you, hopefully in an easy to digest manner. And you will understand how your brain is supposed to use speed, energy in all of the areas of the brain across your day and your life so that your brain can get you into the states that you need to. Get you into calm focus, allow you to rest and recover, allow you to get a great night's sleep, and to not be stressed out. Then you're going to understand the brain pattern that is at the root of dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to show you how anxiety works on top of that brain pattern to impact the brain even more. Then I'm going to show you how that will create your symptoms. Then we're going to look at how you're going to rewire your brain so that it can work better as you age. I'm going to share with you how neuroplasticity works, because I want you to understand this is not magic, this is science. So when we create a positive feedback loop for change, you will be able to rewire your brain and keep it going in the right direction as you continue to age. Then I'm going to share with you strategies, techniques, and tips so that you can keep that positive feedback loop going all by yourself and not needing any brain-based therapies. But I will tell you, people whose parents have passed with dementia tend to continue to use those therapies either monthly or quarterly across the year, just to know that their brain is in the healthiest spot possible. And I'll talk to you about that in upcoming modules. Then lastly, I'm going to show you how to create a mind diet in your brain and in your mind by putting positive psychology in on a daily basis and creating positive psychology in your world. It's proven by science to work and to keep your brain functioning in the best performance pattern. So that's what's on deck for you. Follow me through to the first module on how the brain works, and then we'll move through to the second module on what the Alzheimer's and dementia brain pattern looks like, and then we'll keep going on what you can do about it to help your brain age in a healthier place across the rest of your life, so that you can know in your heart your brain is performing well and that you will be fine across your lifetime. Your stress will go down, your brain will stay sharp as you age. So follow me through to the first module. Let's get rocking and rolling so that you can understand how you can grab control of your brain back so your brain will be healthier as you age. I can't wait to see you in the first lesson.